I want to start today with a question that might actually hurt a little bit. It's one I've been asking myself since I started digging into all this research. Are you running a business or have you just, successfully created a job for yourself where you're the only employee, the boss is a total tyrant, and you never, ever get a vacation?
It's the classic entrepreneur's trap,
Yeah,
isn't it? We see this all the time.
it really is.
You quit the 9 to 5 because you want freedom, you want autonomy, but, give it 2 years and you're working 24/7
Yeah.
because you stop moving for even a second, the money stops coming in.
Right. You trade the corporate rat race for a solitary one where you're both the rat and the wheel. But today we're looking at a system that claims it can actually break that cycle. We are doing a deep dive into the done by one philosophy from Danielle Damiano, and the promise is pretty bold. Run a scalable, profitable business and literally clock out by 1:00 p.m. every day. Now, I have to be honest. When I see work less, make more, my scam radar usually goes off. Is this just mindset fluff?
I get that skepticism. I really do. The internet is just full of manifest your success courses.
Exact.
But what's interesting about Danielle's approach and why we're talking about it is that it's not really a mindset course. It's a technical framework.
Mm-hmm.
It's about merging a CRM, a customer relationship management software, with a very specific operational philosophy.
Okay.
So it's less about thinking rich and more about, engineering your business so it doesn't need you to function every single second.
Okay, so it's an engineering problem. Before we get into the nuts and bolts, the how, we should probably look at the why. And Danielle's backstory seems really relevant here because she didn't just stumble onto this. She grew up in the restaurant industry.
Which is pretty much the gold standard for burnout.
Yeah, exactly. She watched her parents just grind 7 days a week. If they took a vacation, it was short and they were, stressed the whole time. So she grows up, goes into real estate and mortgages, thinking she's escaping that life, and ends up just replicating it perfectly. She talks about being in Europe and Aruba, places where normal people are relaxing, and she's sitting in a cafe, hunched over her laptop, sending pre-approval letters.
That's the moment of realization, isn't it? You're physically in paradise, but mentally you're still chained to the desk.
She realized she hadn't built a business. She had built a trap. She was the bottleneck.
If she didn't type the letter, the deal died.
Exactly.
So she developed this roadmap to remove herself as that bottleneck.
Oh.
She calls it the 3A framework: audit, automate, and AI. That's our map for this deep dive. And just to be clear, even though she comes from the mortgage world, the source material says this applies to pretty much anyone chasing leads: dentists, caterers, plumbers.
Consultants, yeah. Anyone who deals with clients, really. If you have to talk to people to make money, this applies.
So let's start with the problem this whole framework is trying to solve. She calls it the ultimate sales roller coaster. I think most freelancers and business owners, they know this feeling intimately.
Oh, yeah. It's the feast or famine cycle. You hustle to get clients, you get them. Now you're busy doing the work, baking the cakes, writing the code, whatever it is.
Right. And because you're so busy doing the work, you stop marketing.
You take your foot off the gas.
Completely. Then you finish the work, you look up, and your pipeline is just empty. Panic sets in, you scramble to find new business, and the cycle just repeats itself. This system is designed to flatten that curve, so the marketing is always happening.
And she argues the root cause isn't just bad time management. It's a data mess.
This is the unsexy part that nobody wants to talk about. Most small businesses are built on sticky notes. Client info is in your phone contacts, on a napkin, in a spreadsheet from 3 years ago.
Or just in your brain.
Or just in your brain. The mental sticky note.
I'm so guilty of that. Oh, I need to call Steve back on Tuesday, and then Tuesday comes and goes.
And that's fine if it's a hobby. But Danielle brings up this really sharp point from a serial business owner she knows. He said, "Every business I start, I structure it as if I'm going to sell it, even if you never plan to sell."
Why does that matter if I'm planning to keep it forever?
Because you can't sell a business if the operating system is your memory. I mean, think about it. If a buyer walks in, they're buying a system, not you. If you are the only one who knows that Steve needs a call on Tuesday, the business is worthless without you.
That's the bus factor. If you get hit by a bus, does the business die? If yes, you don't own a business, you own a job. Okay, so to fix this, we start with the first A audit.
Right. Before you install any fancy software, you have to find the holes in the bucket. The audit is about being brutally honest. Danielle suggests doing something that makes most business owners cringe. Call your own business.
Like, you mean pretend to be a customer?
Exactly. Go to Google Maps, find your listing, click the call button. Does it even go to the right number? Go to your website, fill out your own contact form, see what happens.
I feel like for a lot of people, nothing happens. It just goes into a black hole.
That's usually what the audit reveals. She talks about finding businesses with disconnected numbers on Yelp or like old addresses on Facebook. These are invisible leaks. You're spending money on ads, but the bucket has a hole in the bottom.
You have to patch the holes before you turn on the faucet.
That's it.
Okay, let's assume we've stopped the bleeding. We know where our data is. Now we move to the second A, automate. And I feel like automation is a buzzword that people just tune out. They think it just means, email blasts.
It's so much more than that. It's about building an engine. It starts with a centralized database. You have to stop using 5 different tools.
Mhm.
Calendly for meetings, MailChimp for emails, Excel for tracking. You need one ecosystem, one CRM where everything lives.
And she uses this visual of a pipeline to manage this.
Yes, humans are visual. We need to see the flow. So imagine a board with columns, new lead, application sent, under contract, closed. Every client is just a card on that board.
Okay, dragging a card from one column to another is satisfying, I get that. How does that save me time? I'm still just moving digital paper around.
The magic is what happens behind the drag and drop. This is the automation. When you move a client from new lead to application sent, the system should automatically trigger a sequence. It sends the application email, it sends a text saying check your inbox, and it sets a reminder for you to follow up in 2 days.
So I don't have to type that email or remember to send that text. It just happens.
Correct. But let's look at a more aggressive example she gives. The stale opportunity automation. This is for real estate, but the logic applies everywhere. Let's say you have a house listing that's been sitting in the active stage for 30 days. No offers.
The danger zone.
Big time. The system sees that the card hasn't moved for 30 days. So it automatically sends an email to the homeowner that says something like, hey, we haven't had an offer in a month. The market is shifting. We should probably discuss a price adjustment.
Whoa, hold on. A robot sends an email telling my client their house is overpriced. Isn't that incredibly risky? I feel like if I received that, I'd be offended that my agent didn't call me personally.
That's the common fear. I need to be the personal touch. But here's the counter argument. How long do you usually procrastinate making that call? It's an awkward conversation.
For weeks, probably.
Agents put it off for weeks. The house sits. The client gets madder. The automation ensures the conversation happens. It removes your emotion from it. It just initiates the tough talk so you can step in and handle the solution.
I see. So it breaks the ice, even if the ice is really, really thick. Another automation tactic she mentions is the referral form. This one actually sounded really practical for networking.
This is a huge time saver. Think about a standard networking event. You meet a referral partner, maybe a realtor. They say, I have a guy, Steve, who needs a loan. You say, great, have him call me. Or you take a business card.
And then I lose the card, or I call Steve 3 days later and he's already found someone else.
Right. The referral form hack changes the physics of that interaction. You give your partner a link to a simple form on their phone. They type in Steve's name and number right there at the bar. They hit submit.
Okay, so the data is now in my system.
But the automation kicks in immediately. The second they hit submit, 3 things happen. 1, Steve gets a text from you. 2, Steve gets an email with your application link.
Right.
And 3, a voicemail drop is sent to Steve's phone, so it looks like you just called and left a message.
And I'm still standing at the bar holding a warm beer.
You haven't even unlocked your phone. But to Steve, you are the fastest, most responsive professional he has ever encountered. By the time you get to your car, Steve might have already replied. That is speed to lead.
That is impressive. It's exploiting the fact that we're all addicted to our phones. But speaking of addiction to phones and instant gratification, that leads us to the third A, AI. And Danielle makes a distinction here. She doesn't call AI a tool. She calls it an employee.
She frames it as hiring a staff member who works 204/7, never sleeps, never complains, and costs pennies compared to a human salary. She talks about saving $3,000 to $5,000 a month in staffing costs.
To explain why this AI employee is so necessary, she tells the story of the Sunday catering disaster. And I think this story just nails the modern consumer mindset.
It's painful, because we've all been on both sides of it. She's planning her daughter's graduation party. It's a Sunday. She sits down to book a caterer and calls 11 different companies.
11 calls on a Sunday.
Now, rationally, we know small businesses are closed on Sundays. But consumers are not rational. We want what we want when we want it.
So how many picked up?
0. Nobody answered. So she leaves voicemails. One company calls her back on Monday. Another one calls back on Wednesday?
I mean, honestly, by Wednesday, I've probably forgotten I even called you.
Exactly. She hired the one company that responded first. The lesson is, if you don't answer instantly, you don't exist. The modern consumer has zero patience. They hit your voicemail, they hang up and call the next person on Google.
So this is where the AI comes in. She uses voice AI. She gives them names like Samantha or Sabine. But I have to play skeptic again. We've all dealt with those press one for sales robots. They are infuriating. Is she really suggesting we put a robot on the phone with high-value clients?
It's a valid concern, but the tech has jumped forward massively. This isn't a phone tree, this is conversational AI. It listens, it pauses, it understands context, it answers the phone when you're asleep or at your kid's soccer game. It can take messages, answer pricing questions, even check your calendar and book appointments.
So it's acting like a receptionist, not just a menu.
Precisely. And the Sabine example she demonstrated brings up a massive feature, bilingual capability.
Oh, right, the language switching.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you live, if you only speak English, you are ignoring a huge demographic. The AI detects the language. If the caller speaks Spanish, the AI just switches to Spanish. Instantly. It can conduct the whole booking in that language.
That's incredible. You're literally opening up a new market without having to learn a new language.
And it's not just voice, it's the chat widget on your website. But again, not the dumb ones that just say leave a message.
Yeah.
This AI is trained on your data. You upload your PDFs, your price lists, your FAQs.
So if I'm a mortgage broker, I could upload the FHA loan guidelines.
Yes. So when a client asks at 2 a.m., what's the down payment for an FHA loan? The bot doesn't say, I don't know. It pulls the answer from your document and replies instantly. It's handling all the FAQs so you don't have to.
It effectively clones your knowledge base. Okay, so we have the 3 A's. We've audited the mess, we've built the automation engine, we've hired the AI employee. In theory, this frees up a ton of time. But here's the trap I fall into. If you give me 5 extra hours a week, I will probably just waste them.
That's the thing.
I'll scroll social media or reorganize my desk.
And that is why the done-by-one system fails without the lifestyle component. The tech is useless without discipline. You can't automate a bad habit.
So let's talk about the 5 pillars. This is the daily routine she prescribes to actually get off work by 1:0 p.m.
Right. It's a hierarchy of how you spend your morning. Pillar 1 is mindset, getting your head right. But Pillar 2 is where most people screw up. Pillar 2 is lead gen and follow-up.
And the key is, this happens before Pillar 4, which is business.
Exactly. Business is the actual work, processing the loan, baking the cake, writing the report. Most of us start our day there. We open our email, we put out fires, we do the paperwork. Why? Because it feels productive. It feels like working.
It's safe. Nobody rejects you when you're filling out a form.
Lead gen is scary. Calling people is scary. So we put it off. We say we'll do it at the end of the day. But by then we're tired or we've run out of time. So lead gen never happens. Her rule is you do the money-making activity first. You eat the frog. You don't get to do the busy work until you've fed the funnel.
That requires some serious discipline. She also talks about batching for Pillar 3, which is sales and marketing. This is for the people who hate social media, right?
Yes, the social planner tool. The problem is waking up every morning thinking, oh God, what do I post today? It's mental friction.
So I just don't post.
Right. The solution is spending one day, maybe 4 hours, and planning the entire month. You use templates. You write 30 captions, you pick 30 images, and you schedule them into the system, and you walk away. The system drips them out every day. You look active, you look omnipresent.
But you're actually at the beach.
You're actually at the beach.
I like the idea of looking busy while being at the beach. She wraps this all up in an acronym for decision-making. DADS. Delegate. Automate. Do. Schedule.
Or dump.
Or dump. That might be the most important one.
It's a filter for every single task. A task lands on your desk. First, can I delegate this to a human? No. Can I automate it with the system? No. Do I have to do it right now? No. Schedule it. If it doesn't fit any of those...
You dump it. It probably doesn't need to be done.
Exactly. We hold on to so much busy work just to feel valid. Dumping tasks is probably the hardest psychological hurdle for a founder.
It is. But if you want to be done by one, you have to be ruthless. You just can't do everything.
You can't.
So let's zoom out. We've built this machine. We have the AI answering the phone, the automations chasing the leads, and we're strictly following the 5 pillars. What is the end game here?
Consistency. That's the word that keeps coming up. Humans are inconsistent. We get sick, we get sad, we get distracted, we get tired. Systems are consistent. A system doesn't have a bad day.
And consistency builds trust.
And trust builds revenue. But more importantly, it builds freedom. Danielle's ultimate point isn't just about making more money. It's about passing what she calls the Europe test.
This is the provocative thought I want to leave our listeners with today. It's a little scary to think about.
It is. Imagine you packed your bags tomorrow. You go to Europe for 5 weeks, not a long weekend, 5 weeks. And let's say you have spotty Wi-Fi. You can't check in every hour.
My heart rate is going up just thinking about it.
What happens to your business? Does it crumble? Do clients leave? Does revenue hit zero? Or does it grow? Does the AI catch the new leads? Do the pipelines nurture them automatically?
If the answer is it would crumble, then you have some work to do.
It means you are still the engine. And as long as you are the engine, you can never stop running. The goal of Done by One is to build an engine that runs without you so you can finally step off the treadmill.
That is a lot to chew on. I think I need to go audit my own phone habits now. Maybe check if my voicemail box is even set up.
Start with the audit. It's always the first step.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you on the next one.